From the skyscrapers of the Windy City, just a short drive down Interstate 55, it's college hockey. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome inside Kalen Sports in Romeoville for the 2025 ACHA Chicago Classic. Got a weekend packed full of college hockey being played in Romeoville this afternoon. We've got quite the matchup that we'll be taking a look at. Utah is facing off against the University of UMary in the what is Mary's second game of this showcase tournament. They had a shootout loss to the Delaware Blue Hens last night, and that was not the way that they wanted to open up this weekend of hockey in the Windy City, but they will be looking to extract some revenge and turn things around for the matchup this afternoon. We'll step out for starting lineups and the national anthem, then we'll be back with period number one. You're watching college hockey live here on Flow Sports. All right, we welcome you back inside Kalen Sports in Romeoville for this ACHA Division I college hockey tilt as part of the 2025 ACHA Chicago Classic, presented by Cappers Hockey Services. Starting goaltenders tonight to my left-hand side for the University of Utah. That is Garrett Fuller in net, native of Alberta, Canada. On the season thus far, we've seen him in 9 games. Has a record of 5-4 with .324 goals against average and an .892 save percentage. On the other side, Caleb Cross gets the look for head coach Dan Huntley of the UMary Marauders. He's made an appearance in 8 games. This season is 6-2 on the season so far. Puck is dropped. We are underway. The Utah Utes are looking to kind of extend their win streak. They had a couple good games last week against the University of Arizona at home. They had a big win on Friday. 10-4 was the score of that one, and not as successful on Saturday, but still came away with the win in overtime. So looking to continue that. And as I said before the starting lineups, the University of Mary had a tough loss to the Delaware Blue Hens in the shootout. It was back and forth all game long, but they couldn't get it done and are looking to bounce back after having last week off, maybe trying to get some of those travel legs, the bus legs out from under them last night, and I'm sure they're going to come out with a vengeance here tonight. That puck in the offensive zone was gloved down momentarily by Scribner, but the Marauders could not control, and now back in his own zone is Will Faulkner. The former Squatch will send it up, but Utah momentarily forced a turnover, and now they've got it back in their own zone. It's Senden. Sends a rink-wide pass and tries to feed Waldhauser ahead, but it careens all the way to Caleb Cross, who will hold on for a face-off in his defensive zone. UMary had as I said last week, they did not have a game. Before that, their game against Minot, where they actually came away with a big win. 2-1 was the score. That was back on the 8th of November. And then before that, they played the Jamestown Jimmies and had a loss on the first day of November this month. So a really tough schedule for the Marauders here in November, and looking to pick up a couple points in Chicago this weekend. That shot deflected up into the protective netting. We'll see a face-off to the right wing side of Fuller. In to take it for the Marauders is Joe Gronholtz, who went first in the shootout last night. Didn't score, but has had a pretty successful season coming into the weekend. Through 14 games played, has 15 points. No surprise he's on the ice early in this one. Here's Slatter moving fast up the right wing side. Tries a shot, and it's paddled into the corner by Cross and controlled by the Mary Marauders. A battle in the far side corner. That's Denema who's in there for the Utes. And it's sent back around by Jacob Slaughter. In comes Alex Sempf, who is the points leader for the Marauders, but he couldn't control it in his defensive zone. It's still Utah with the puck. Sky is running around to the near side point. It could not be kept in by Ripley Garden. And so it's sent back in. And out to play it was Caleb Cross, who stumbled behind the net, but it's still the Marauders now with the puck. Was broken up in the neutral zone, and Skies gave it away to Kraft, who was in over the Marauder line. Going back the other way was Cray Dawson. But again, neither team really able to control here in the early part of period number one. Mary, coming into this hockey game, has a little bit of an advantage considering they played here at Camlin yesterday. They were also part of this Capper Hockey Classic last year, where they played one of those games anyway against the UNLV Rebels. That was when I saw them last year, and had a really good game again against a team that would go on to become the ACHA Division I national champions. But either way, the Marauders are familiar with playing hockey here in Romeoville. The puck was sent up out of play. Marauders not allowed to change since they threw it out of play in their defensive zone. And so Caleb Cross will see a face-off to the left wing side. Moving in for the Utes is Brady Schwab, who's tied for first in points for this season with the Utes. 17 total points through 14 games played coming into this weekend. And the computer science major is having quite the season for the University of Utah. That one is sent into the far side corner by Cray Dawson, who will then go off for a line change. Now it's the Utes. Lorilla up the near side, rifled the pass into the middle, and it was sent in by Trevor Kruzik. Now in their own zone, the Marauders control. Sinclair rifled the pass up to Liam Massey, who deflected it in the near side corner. And they couldn't get it out. A shot from the point was saved by Fuller. And now moving fast the other way is Correa. He's centering pass, his shot, and a big blocker save is made by Caleb Cross, who slid from right to left and snuck the big blocker out. Controlled still by Utah in the offensive zone, but it was sticked out by Lyndon Orr. Best chance of the game so far for the Utah Utes, and a big hit in the near side half wall. That was Jake Lorilla for the Utah Utes, who stood his ground and laid down the big body check. On the near side wall, it's Senden. He turned it over right to David Lohr, who was in sniffing around, but he really didn't have time to gain full possession. Now going back the other way, here the Utes are into the zone. A quick shot from the top of the circles, not a problem at all for Caleb Cross, and he'll hold on. Some early chances here for the Utah Utes. Just trying to feel it out, get some pucks on net, keeping it simple. That's kind of what you have to do when you're coming into a new place and playing a team that you're not really familiar with. And so now on the center dot is Colton Johnson, who will send it into the Marauder zone. Rung all the way around on the near side, and Sardelli couldn't control for the Marauders. In swoops David Lohr, who rifled the pass across to Sardelli. His shot is patted out by Fuller, who was down in the butterfly to make that save. First chance of any quality for the Marauders, right back the other way. Here's Utah with a big shot, and a save is made by Cross. He had a push from left to right, and he was way out on top of the crease challenging the shooter. And not a problem at all for the UMary netminder. 14-15 left to go in period one. Both teams exchanging some chances in the offensive zone, but it has been Utah with the majority of the chances. On the point was Johnson, whose shot was blocked. In behind the net is Slater. Pile up on the half wall. It's smacked out by Spencer Skies. And on the point, Johnson kept it in. Behind his own net, Amridge Gill will get things going. And it tried to be sent high off the glass by Logan Lukasek. And it was sent just a little bit too high and went right to the Mary bench. And so now we'll see a face-off in Mary's defensive zone. Moving in to take this face-off is Tyler Sonigel. Came to the University of Utah after playing some NA3 junior hockey for the Gillette Wild. And he won that face-off. A shot from the far side was just wide. And crashing in right there was Noonan, but he could not control. Larilla lofted into the far side Mary zone, where back to get it was Gill. Sent it to Gronholtz on the near side half wall, but there's a couple Utes all over this Mary's defense. You see it already, a lot of pressure being applied by the University of Utah in the offensive zone, looking to force any turnovers that they can, and we've seen a few of them already, but Mary has to be better getting that puck out of the zone, even if it's high off the glass. Anything is better than turning it over in the defensive zone. Just over 13 minutes left in period one. We're all tied up, 0 goals aside. That faceoff was won into the corner by the Marauders, but not out. Quite the weekend of hockey for both these teams. Mary had their tournament start up yesterday, as I said, against the University of Delaware. They're playing the University of Utah today, and then they've got Westchester tomorrow. They're done a day early. This is Utah's first game of the Chicago Classic. They've got number 3 Minot tomorrow, and then number 9 Jamestown on Sunday. So a very challenging weekend for the Utah Utes here in Chicago. Puck was turned over, and a backhand shot by Trevor Kruzik was turned aside by Cross, and it's still the Utes. A big slap shot from the point by Sendin was just wide. And finally, Scribner could skate it over the blue line and out. That puck just squeaked over the blue line, and Mangan had kind of a late shot, and Noonan didn't like that. Hunter Mangan is trying to, but is aspiring to live up to the standards that were set by his brother, Marshall Mangan, who played for the University of Mary from 2018 to 2022 and was actually a 2-time national champion during that time. So Hunter looking to follow in the footsteps of his big brother. That puck is sent up the near side wall. It's Bradshaw in over the Utes line, and his shot was blocked by Sendin, who was down on one knee, ready for it. And the Utes doing a good job helping out Garrett Fuller here in the first period, getting in the way of some of those shots. As that faceoff will come outside the zone, it looks like the net was knocked off. It was won back by Correa and now controlled by Utah. A pass is snapped up and behind Waldhauser. And he fights for it back in the neutral zone. A cross-ice pass by Garden will feed in Correa, but he gave it right to Ben Tashida behind the Mary net. Garden is tangled up with Tashida now behind the net. And it gets slapped out to Schwab, and he gets it back on the point. Down low to Correa. It gets rung around to the near side where Palmer Sinclair will send it all the way down for an icing call. Mary not allowed a change have some tired guys on the ice. That's Palmer Sinclair you see bent over there at the top of the near side circle. Former Potomac Patriot. And the Mary Marauders won that face-off. It's turned over to Slatter in the far side corner. It gets sent up to Larilla near side. His shot was blocked by Palmer Sinclair. And it bounces into the near side corner. Sent up to the point by Slatter. And he works it back down low. In moves Sinclair and scoops it up the near side wall, but it was intercepted by Jake Larilla and momentarily sent back into the Mary end. Moving with speed was Sinclair. He still got it. He shoots a sharp angle shot that went right into the logo of Fuller, but Fuller was able to find it and freeze it. Fuller will see a face-off now to his right wing side. In moves Derek Dropek to take it. And Mary controls on the point is Scribner. His shot was fought off by Fuller, and the rebound is skated out by Delaney. Near side Mary, and it gets gloved down by Matt Scribner, but it was ruled to be a hand pass by the referee in the near side corner, so they'll see a face-off now in their defensive end. Just over the halfway point in period number one. It's been a lot of Utah Utes in the offensive zone. Haven't generated too many high-quality scoring chances, but they've been working hard in this offensive zone, have forced several turnovers. And Sardelli is squeezed off the puck. It was Dropek then who came in but couldn't get it out of the zone. Far side Scribner, his cross-ice pass feeds Sardelli ahead. Lohr's pass was in his skates and it gets rung around the near side, and now skating with speed up the near side wall was Noonan, but he ran into a couple players, including Gavin Barr on his own team, and so it had to be sent in. Garden will rifle a pass all the way down. No icing is waved. And again, the Utes have force another turnover in the offensive zone. Falconer engaged in battle in the far side corner with Zach Larilla. And Mary fans on a pass. Krusek who sends it back down low, right to, that's John Lang who flung it up into the protective netting, and that'll be another face-off in the Mary end. That shot was turned aside by Caleb Cross, controlled on the point by Colton Johnson. And it was rifled down low. Waldhauser was dealing with Will Falconer, and now it's a pile up in the near side corner. It's hoisted out by David Lohr, who will go off for a line change. And on the forecheck is Joe Gronholtz for the Mary Marauders. Was almost able to force a turnover, but now in the near side corner, it's Gian Correa. Pass gets sent the length of the ice. Out to play it was Caleb Cross, negating the icing call. And it was stick down on the red line by Correa, who couldn't cleanly enter the Mary zone. Now on the near side, it's Jake Larilla. Had it taken away by Alex Semf, who was the only person in the shootout for the Mary Marauders yesterday to score. He also had a goal in the first period yesterday and has already had a great weekend here in Chicago. So Alex Semf will be a player to watch for the UMary Marauders this weekend for sure. Out to play the puck was Garrett Fuller behind his own net. And now on the near side corner, it's Jake Larilla. Gets snapped up the far side wall right to Jaken Slater. And now backing up in his own zone was Larilla. Pass gets deflected by Matt Scribner up into the bench. And so we'll see a face-off just in front of the Marauder bench with 6:46 left to go in the first period. Tie up off the face-off. The Utes win it. And right off the draw, it was Sonagel who was tangled up with Hunter Mangan. And I think Mangan actually pushed Sonagel offside. So we'll see a face-off now. Near side face-off dot. Another tie-up. And this time it's the Marauders. It was given away by Scribner in the neutral zone, but able to recover was Falconer, and it gets slapped across the ice by Craig Dawson. In his own zone, that was Mangan who was wrapped up send-in. And now sauntering through the neutral zone was Sonagel, who will send it in. Given his pass was found Ethan Noonan on the near side point, who was able to keep it in. Had a couple of Marauders on him. Marauders look a little discombobulated here in the defensive zone. Not really able to cleanly break the puck out at all, and a hand pass is whistled to the neutral zone. And so we'll see a face-off at center ice. But whether it's in the Mary defensive zone or the neutral zone, they really have been turning the puck over a lot in each of those, and as a result have not had a lot of offensive zone time. Look to change that here into the zone are the Utes all by himself, and a big save is made by Cross, and that was a diving play as well by Amarjeet Gill. And one of the better chances for UMary right there, or should I say Utah. Gill was right on the outside of that scrum, and he's able to send it off the glass and out. And falling down there was Colton Johnson, who was able to get up and retain possession. His long-range shot was blockered aside by Cross. Now it's Dropek who kicked it on over to Will Falconer. And he stick handles it through the neutral zone over the Utah line, and just preceding him was David Lohr on the near side, so that will be ruled an offside play. David Lohr second in points for this Mary team, has 15 in 16 games played. 7 of those are goals. And he also went second in the shootout yesterday, but was unable to find the back of the net. A shot from the point by Scribner was patted out by Fuller, and the rebound was controlled by Flatley. Behind the net, Semf trying to pick it up on his stick blade. On the point is Scribner. Near side, Falconer. His snapshot was tracked by Fuller, and he pounces on top of it to freeze it. 4:15 left in this first period. Finally, signs of life in the offensive zone being shown by the Marauders. Really the first time they've controlled really anything in the offensive zone. They won it off that faceoff. It's Falconer on the point. Rings it all the way around to the far side where Matt Scribner kept it in. And he'll reverse it back to Falconer. He ran into a big shoulder there by Paul Waldhauser, but it's still Mary in the offensive zone. Lorilla rifles it up the far side wall, but it went off the glove of Matt Scribner and into the Utes bench. And that will cause a whistle. Matt Scribner, the lone goal scorer in the shootout for the Marauders yesterday. Graduated from Grand Forks Red River High School and decided he wanted to come play hockey for the UMary Marauders. That centering pass could not find Palmer Sinclair, who was all alone in the middle of the ice. But now it's Sendin. He passed it off to Skies, who chips and chases into the offensive zone. Teammate Denema in on the forecheck. Kept in on the point there by Noonan. On the far side wall, it's Massey who just slaps it into the middle of the ice, and it gets immediately reversed back in by Ethan Noonan. A touch pass will send Orr ahead. His long-range shot is right into the catching glove of Fuller, who will keep it. Just under 3 minutes left in this first period. Still looking for the first goal. Finally, Mary has had some offensive zone time and looking to get a late one here in this first frame. Puck gets lofted all the way into the Mary end. Where back to get it is Matt Scribner, who had a huge reverse hit there in his defensive zone on Oliver Kraft. And Matt Scribner showing how strong he is on his skates right there. Now in the Mary end, we'll see a face-off far side dot. Won by the Utes. A quick shot, hit traffic out in front. Another try is slapped at and handled by Cross, and some words are exchanged in front of the net. That's Tyler Sonnegal, who was right there tangling it up with Hunter Mangan. Now it's those two will square up on this face-off. Mangan, though, will get tossed, and so will Sonnegal. In moves Oliver Kraft to take this face-off. And he tied up with Nick Bradshaw, and the puck's still sitting there. That was Matt Scribner, who was sitting on the ice. Nobody could quite find that puck, and physicality starting to pick up here towards the end of the first period. Was kept in momentarily by Johnson, moving fast the other way as Bradshaw. He snaps one, and it was just wide. And it gets chopped at, and that was Gavin Barr who got the 9-iron out and chipped it all the way down the ice for an icing call. Final 2 minutes here in this first frame. Really huge for either team to take a lead into the dressing room. Mary looking to bounce back after a tough shootout loss and gain some confidence. They force a turnover. A rebound is put into the near side corner. And an excellent save there was made by Fuller off a dangerous chance created in the offensive zone by the Marauders. In the near side corner, it's Sardelli. And glove down on the half wall by Dropek. Around to Gill. He's got it up the right wing side. Rifles a cross-ice pass and finds Dropek, but he's squeezed off the puck by Larilla. In his defensive zone, it was Delaney's got it. Has a dangerous rink-wide pass there, but does find Larilla in the neutral zone. Just over the blue line, will dish it down low. A centering pass. Just found the stick of Dropek. And with 60 seconds left to go in the neutral zone, we got the game's first penalty coming up. Taken down was David Lohr in the neutral zone. And that will be Jake Larilla who will be heading to the penalty box. And the Milwaukee native will put his team down for 2 minutes. Tripping is the call. Or that's Ethan Noonan, rather. Either way, UMary just shy of 18% on the power play, 10 for 56 on the season thus far. Now on the point is Gronholtz. Dishes it across to Scribner. Down low it goes. Centering pass, and the save was made by Fuller. And it gets cleared the length of the ice. Utah no slouch on the penalty kill either. 81.2% on the season thus far for the Utes. On the point here is Sempf. Could not control and gets slapped all the way down by Ripley Garden. And that will just about run out the clock. The University of Mary Marauders will start period number 2 on the power play. One has to think that they'll get some words of encouragement from Dan Huntley in the dressing room. It's huge to come out of the intermission with the power play. But after 20 minutes of hockey, we are scoreless here in Romeoville. We will see period number 2 in about 12 minutes. You're watching college hockey live here on Flow Sports. Welcome back inside Canlan Sports in Romeoville for the 2025 ACHA Chicago Classic. Logan Kapp here on the call for this one between the UMary Marauders and the University of Utah Utes. After one, we are scoreless, but the Marauders will start period number 2 on the power play late in period number 1. That was Jake Larilla, who took a tripping penalty, so that will give the Marauders a look on the power play. After being tied after one period for this season, Mary is 4-2. And after one period being tied, Utah is 3-2. So both teams have a relatively good record when being even through one. So we were taking bets in that intermission who was going to score first. And if Utah is able to kill off this first penalty, I really think they're going to find the back of the net first, just based on how much offensive zone time they've had throughout the game thus far. That's Another 30 seconds they've got to kill off here on the far side. Face-off dot. That shot was rifled on Fuller, but he was able to fight it off. A battle on the far side half wall. That was Lang, or Flatley rather, and he couldn't get it behind the net. That's Sempf. Tries a rink-wide pass. It gets poked out, and that was Schwab, who would have been going in all alone. Not the guy you want doing that. It's tied for first in points for this Utah Utes team. It gets shot up the near side wall, and the penalty is over. We're playing 5-on-5 hockey now here in the second period. Not really a great power play for the Marauders. Didn't generate really any high-quality scoring chances. They had a couple shots, but would have liked to see a couple more dangerous chances. Skating out of his own zone on the near side was Lohr, who sent it across the ice all the way down over the goal line, and that will result in an icing violation. That was Joseph Grolic, who you just saw coming onto the ice there, a little late, coming late back from that first intermission. And now it's the Marauders in their own zone. Near side is Gill. Gets sent up the near side wall to Lohr and out. Centering pass was behind Dropek, and now moving with speed the other way is Correa. A rink-wide pass finds Sendin. His shot is saved by Fuller, and a goal from the point. The Utah Utes open the scoring here in the second period. That was Gian Correa who had that point shot. I don't think it got deflected in front. We'll see what the official score sheet says, but just like that, the Utah Utes are ahead by 1 in this second period. Not even 2.5 minutes into this second, you had to think after killing off that penalty. That's what I had said right at the start, is if they were able to kill that off and take some momentum away from that, they would find the back of the net first. Call me a genie. Scribner slaps it in and rings it around the Utes net. In to get it was Bradshaw, but he fell down on the play. And now skating back the other way is Slatter. He's in over the Marauder line, will hold up, but had a couple UMary players right on him. And in the neutral zone, it gets poked ahead. Here into the zone is Mangan. His shot hit the stick of Ripley Garden out in front and will deflect way up into the protective netting, and that will cause a stoppage of play. Face off to the right wing side now of Fuller. And that was Brady Schwab who got tossed out. On the near side, it was Schwab who could not send it up, and it was spooned in by Palmer Sinclair. Physical play being picked up. That was Schwab who got the hands up on a late hit by Palmer Sinclair, and the Marauders will be heading to another power play. They got Cross off the ice and the extra skater out. Moving in is Massey, who rung it around near side to Orr, and he gave it away. So now we'll see what call is made. That was Sinclair who was going for the body check on Schwab, and he got his hands and stick up. The call is high sticking. And the former Grizzly of the KIJHL will put his team down for 2 minutes. High sticking is the call, and we'll see the Marauders' second power play opportunity. Unsuccessful on try number 1, but a huge opportunity to be able to tie it up as we approach the halfway point in this hockey game. Scribner will quarterback this rush on the power play. He's in over the Utes line, and a big hit is thrown down by Larilla. And the Marauders can't even set it up. Up the near side wall, Orr is sent in. His centering pass found flatly. He left it off. A shot hit a stick out in front and deflects back into the neutral zone. Winning the race was Massey. Now in over the Utes line is Alex Sempf. Centering pass was right on the tape of Matt Delaney, and he sends it the length of the ice. Half this power play is gone for UMary. Up the left wing wall, Sardelli couldn't get it into the zone cleanly. And it was found by Lohr, but he also could not scoop it in, so it gets sent into the Mary bench, and we'll see a face-off now in the Utes zone. Mary getting into the offensive zone and kind of just panicking with the puck. Not able to set up on the power play. Haven't been able to work the puck really at all in the offensive zone here in this second period. Faceoff was won by the Utes, and Sendin is sat down. And it gets thrown the length of the ice by Matt Delaney. 25 more seconds of power play time. This time in the offensive zone, a turnover was forced there by Spencer Skies, who then gave it all the way back. And that was a 400-foot play for the Utes just to take some time off the clock. Slater. Ladled it across to Sendin, who got it in, but now it's Will Falconer, penalty over. And again, we saw their goal that was scored by the Utes right at the start of this period was right after they killed off that penalty, so they'll be looking for another one here. In the offensive zone is Jason Slater. Gave it away, and now Will Falconer will get things going for the Marauders. Pass is turned over. That was Slater in the middle of the ice, but again, nobody really able to control. Here's Garden. Walks it in, and his shot was blocked by the skate of Will Falconer there. And finally, Tropak was able to check it basically out of the zone. Caleb Cross didn't like what he saw from his defense, so he'll hold on to it for that defensive zone face-off. That was Gian Correa who had that first goal, assisted by Ethan Noonan. And that was Correa's 7th goal on the year as the Utes look for another one here in the offensive zone. It's Waldhauser. Let it get rung around to Delaney, and Correa sends it Catawampus into the far side corner. All Utes as they turn it over. Now moving past the other way is Nick Bradshaw. He's in all by himself. Bradshaw, and a big save is made by Fuller. And now I believe a penalty has been called. Gian Correa will now get his name on the score sheet once again, this time in the penalty column. Slashing is the call. Mary now with their third opportunity on the power play. Really have to start converting on some of these opportunities. Just had their best scoring chance of the game. It was Nick Bradshaw all alone, moving in on the breakaway, but really would like to see some scoring chances generated as that puck was gloved down just in front of the goal line, but could not be put on net, and it looks like Fuller pushed the net off. Utes not allowed to change. We'll see a face-off far side dot in the Utah end. There's one and sent up the far side wall. In the neutral zone was Trevor Kruzik, who's really working hard on the penalty kill, trying to force an offensive zone turnover. Alex Sempf tries a give and go with Orr, but was unsuccessful, and it gets once again sent the length of the ice. Here now is Matt Scribner. Mary with the push and back entry will send Sempf into the zone on the half wall. It's Orr. In the middle is Scribner. And Mary trying too much. 60 seconds gone on the penalty assessed to Gian Correa. You see the Utes with on the penalty kill, sending the forechecker in, trying to apply as much pressure as they can, and rightfully so, have been able to force those turnovers, even in the offensive zone, on this penalty kill. Sardelli scooped that one out of there. He sends it up to the point. Now it's Gill near side. He's trying to send a pass down to Dane Sardelli, but it got deflected up into the protective netting, once again causing a stoppage of play. 22 more seconds of power play time for this Marauders hockey team. Really would like to see a couple more chances generated, even if you're just making Garrett Fuller make some saves. You got to start generating something here. Puck bounced over the stick of Trevor Kruzik. And the former national champion in high school is working hard in the offensive zone, but a hand pass is ruled. And so now a face-off Mary end. 4 seconds left, and so basically this penalty power play is over. And another opportunity to tie this game up goes by the wayside for the Marauders. In to take the face-off for UMary, Derek Dropek, the captain. Had a couple junior seasons before coming to play college hockey at the NA3 level. The Toros, a couple years with them. Just under 90 games played for the graduate student. It's Craig Dawson in his own zone. The stick got slapped away from Caleb Cross, but he got it back. Poked up by Hunter Mangan. Just a little bit too far, and that allowed Ripley Garden to control. A turnover is forced, and the shot was fought off by Garrett Fuller. And that's the kind of opportunities that Mary has had. Now it's the Utes on the other side. On the point is Johnson. It gets sent across. A whistle goes. The net is off its moorings. And Mary will not be allowed to change still. Face off the left wing side of Caleb Cross. Just over the halfway point or just right at anyway, the halfway point in this hockey game. It's been a lot of Utah Utes. They've generated most of the scoring chances. Really haven't been a lot throughout the course of this hockey game. It's been pretty mellow, not a lot going on, but all it takes is one opportunity. We saw Mary force a turnover in the offensive zone just a couple minutes ago and have a high-quality opportunity, but still looking to find the back of the net here today. This time it was one back to Orr, who slapped a rink-wide pass. In the neutral zone, Semp picks up the puck. Tried to basically skate right through the chest of Karsten Sandin, but was unsuccessful. And Fuller came out to play up behind his net. Sandin sachets over the Mary line, and his shot was high of the net, but he's able to pick up the loose change. Got poked away by Scribner. He dances through the neutral zone. Now he's in over the Utes line. Scribner, long-range shot, hit a stick and went up into the protective netting. And some fisticuffs down behind the net. That was Isaac Flatley for the Marauders there, and Zach Larilla for the Utes. Flatley, the former Grizzly, also with some NA3 experience, had a taste of in the Null as well with the Oklahoma Warriors. 12 games played with them, but Isaac Flatley mixing it up here in the second period. That's one thing that happened right there. The Utes came down with an opportunity of their own after Mary even just generated a shot on goal, but Utes looking to really hammer down on the gas pedal here and get another one. A big hit on the near side wall. That was Liam Massey, who came in and cleared house, but it's the Utes in the offensive zone. In the middle, Kraft's got it. Trying to stick handle through a couple players. He's got a far side corner. His pass was out of the reach of Matt Delaney, and that sends him all the way back into his defensive zone. Tashida for the UMary Marauders. Works it up the far side wall. Will send Lohr into the zone. His sharp angle shot goes right to the catching glove of Garrett Fuller, who will hold on. 8:16 left to go in this second period. The Utah Utes are still up by one thanks to Gian Correa's goal. Face-off in the Utes end is one back into the corner and slapped out by Johnson. He gave it away to Lohr. He controls on the half wall. Will cycle it down to Sardelli. Had a couple of Utes players right on him, and now on the near side it was Ripley Garden will rifle it in. Marauders Lohr on the near side corner. Works it out to Dropak, who will slow it down behind his own net. Former Toro gave it away in the neutral zone. Kruzik, centering pass, a save is made by Caleb Cross. A quality chance right in the slot was shut down by the Mary netminder. A rink-wide pass to Derek Dropak was wide and kept in by Sardelli, who backhanded it up into the protective netting. Both teams exchanging opportunities in the offensive zone. But Caleb Cross coming up with a big save to keep his team in this hockey game. 7:19 left to go in this second period. Puck is finally dropped and cannot be won forward by Mangan, and it's controlled by the Utes. Glove down on the blue line by Logan Lukasek, but again could not be controlled. Correa with the stick left in the neutral zone, but it will squirt out to Amridge Gill, who's got it in his defensive end. Turns away from Ripley Garden, who's right in his back pocket on the forecheck. And now it's Correa in his own zone. Saucer pass was right to Logan Lukasek, who couldn't get it into the offensive zone, but he's able to chip it around Noonan. Correa buzzing up the right wing side. He's in over the Mary line, has to glove it down to himself. A forehand shot is saved by Caleb Cross, who is down in the butterfly. Pace of play starting to pick up. Mangan could not feed it ahead to Craig Dawson. And a saucer pass from Karsten Senden will go all the way down for an icing call. Six minutes left here. Just over that anyway in the second frame. University of Mary Marauders looking to get back in the win column after a tough loss yesterday to the Fighting Blue Hens of the University of Delaware. A quick shot off the face-off hit traffic out in front and was controlled by Gronholtz. And it was scooped high into the sky and sent into the Mary end. Scribner controls. Has to fight through a couple sticks. He's moving with speed. He dished it off as he crossed over the Utes line. And it was stick down on the point by Isaac Flatley, who then goes in and lays down a big body check in the offensive zone. And Flatley trying to pull the momentum back in his team's favor. Gronholtz on the point will send it down behind the net where Semp controls, and he'll hold up on the half wall. A point shot is the first save that's made by Fuller in quite some time. Rebound in front, and another save made by Garrett Fuller. What a save as he was sitting down on the ice. Just after that, Isaac Flatley was tangling it up out in front of the crease there. I believe that's Jake Lorilla. And it looks like they'll both be getting to sit down and watch some action from inside the penalty box. Isaac Flatley, graduate of Rock Ridge High School over there in Minnesota, had quite an impressive high school career. 73 games played, 29 goals, 42 assists with 71 total points. And the Virginia, Minnesota native will take a seat for two, along with Jake Lorilla. Who will get the corresponding penalty. We'll go 4-on-4 here for 2 minutes. And you got to think that this benefits the University of Utah. They've been playing a really fast hockey game. And it gets touched into the zone as Scribner. Centering pass, and the one-timer was fanned on by Derek Dropek. And he was looking at a wide-open cage. 4:27 left to go in this second period. The Utes are up by 1, 1:32 left on both penalties. Face off to Garrett Fuller's right wing side. Gets sent around the net and controlled in the near side corner. It's Waldhauser. Will get it back and look to start the breakout for the Utes. Cross ice pass found Garden. And it will now be Waldhauser, who couldn't cleanly enter the Mary zone. Average Gill sauces it over to the near side where Matt Scribner will work it in over the Utes line. Gill wanted it on the point as he was the late man, but it was taken away by Gian Correa, who's working in. He shoots, he scores! Paul Waldhauser was all alone in front of the net. To 2 goals. Still 44 more seconds of 4-on-4 time. In his own defensive zone is Slatter, who has to work it away from a couple forechecking Mary players. Now in over the line is Delaney. His centering pass could not find Schwab, but it's kept in on the point by Sendin. Here now is Orr. Had Karsten Sendin right on him, and that will force Mary offsides. And so now a face-off in the neutral zone. Still 20 seconds of 4-on-4 time. One back to Will Falconer, who dishes it over to Lukasek near side. His pass was way behind Dane Sardelli, and that will go all the way down for an icing call. .305 left to go in this second period. Marauders still looking kind of flat. It would be huge for them to get a late one here in this second frame. They turned it over in the middle to Schwab, who had a backhand no-look pass into the middle of the ice. Now it's Lukasek. Gets it up. It's Dane Sardelli in behind the Utes net. Is engaged in battle there with Sendin. Got a penalty coming up now to the Marauders. That was Amrich Gill who touched it for the Marauders and sent it right into the open net. And that will draw a crowd. We've got the referees having a conversation here. Dane Sardelli's entering the penalty box. Looks like holding is the call. And so now the Utah Utes will get their first look on the power play. Have had a pretty successful one at that this season. 22 out of 76 successful attempts for the Utes. That's a 28.9 percentage. They'll go to work. In the offensive zone, that was Paul Waldhauser. who sent it up. And now a face-off to the right wing side of Caleb Cross. It's Schwab controlling. Gets sent up and across on the point. It's that's Correa rather. Centering pass, Waldhauser with a shot, and a big save is made by Cross. And another quality chance for Paul Waldhauser. The goal was credited to Joseph Corrali, not Waldhauser, so the Romeoville native will take his team up by 2. So maybe Joseph Crawley is familiar with playing here at Camlin and Romeoville, being from the area. Maybe a little bit more familiar with the ice surface and able to find the back of the net to take the Utes up by 2. A minute 50 left here in the second period. There's still a minute 20 more of power play time for the University of Utah. Face-off will take place just outside the Utes bench. That's Brady Schwab, who won that face-off. Controls it back in his own zone. Right to Matt Delaney, who will hold up and send it across. Waldhauser had it slapped off his stick by Massey. Once again, Delaney's got it. Gave it up to Trevor Krusik. And Schwab with an excellent backhand saucer pass will send Correa in. He had the first goal for the Utes today. On the far side is Schwab. In the middle now, walks it in. Delaney, centering pass, will get it back, and a shot hit traffic out in the slot. And now with speed the other way is Scribner. He's into the Ute zone, and that shot was blocked by Matt Delaney, who is down on one knee ready for it. And a grade A chance in the Mary end will end with a block shot. Amrich Gill could not get it up to Gronholtz. And now the Utes move it in. A shot from the point never made it to the net. And with 25 seconds left, that penalty to Mary is over. 5-on-5 hockey. The offensive zone, Zanima was forced out. Flatley couldn't control in the neutral zone for the Marauders, but Amrich Gill swooped in and intercepted it. Now moving back the other way is Delaney. His long-range shot goes in and out of the glove of Cross, and the horn will sound. And after 40 minutes of hockey, the Utah Utes will take a 2-goal lead into the second intermission. No surprise at all that the Utes lead this hockey game. They had quite the control throughout the course of this game, and Mary's really kind of needs to pick things up here in this final 20 minutes of hockey. We will see the third period in about 12 minutes. You're watching the ACHA Chicago Classic live on Flow Sports. We welcome you back inside Camlin Sports in Romeoville for period 3 of Utah and Mary here as part of the 2025 ACHA Chicago Classic, presented by Capper Hockey Services. After 40 minutes, the UMary Marauders have some major work to do, down by 2 goals, and really have not been able to generate very much on the offensive side of things all game. When leading after 2 periods, Utah throughout the season this year is 6-0. And when trailing after 2, the UMary Marauders are 0-4. So looking to change some things around as a kind of a scrambling cover-up there from Caleb Cross early in this third period. One has to think that head coach Dan Huntley for this Marauders team had some pretty strong words of encouragement in that intermission. Dan Huntley was actually the inaugural coach of the ACHA Division I program at University of Mary. Before that, he was the athletic director at Concordia University, Texas, and University of Texas at Brownsville. Now puck is ladled into the far side corner by Dane Sardelli of the Mary Marauders. Now going back with speed the other way was Schwab, who gave it right to Caleb Cross, who will freeze it. If you are the Marauders, you've got to come out of this second intermission with a little bit of extra gusto and have to look to get an early one in this first part of this period. And shot quick off the face-off from Paul Waldhauser was wide of the net. And now it gets kind of chopped up and out of the zone, but immediately sent back in by Gian Correa, who's one of the goal scorers for the Utes thus far. A saucer pass in the middle was one time by Correa, but he sent it past the side of the goal. It gets sent up the far side by Flatley and into the Utes zone. But it was almost immediately taken away by Correa. He's in over the Mary line now. Left it for Sendin in the middle, but falling down was Average Gill, who kind of blocked that first scoring try. Semp intercepted the pass and left it for Falconer, who rifles it into the far side corner Utah zone. Now Sendin left it, but the Utes turn it over. Centering pass in the middle, found Dawson. They hammer away at it, and right there was Hunter Mangan, who was taken out behind the net and went bowling, took out the referee in the near side corner, and the whistle was initially blown because the net came off its moorings, and that had to be the best chance of the hockey game for the UMary Marauders. Hunter Mangan was in sniffing around at the top of the crease there. The graduate of Woodbury High School was trying to get on the board, get his team on the board anyway for the first time this hockey game. Face-off one back to Falconer on the point. His shot was wide of the net. Centering pass was not found by Dawson, who was right in the slot. He's got it now in his own zone. It gets chipped off the glass by Mangan all the way down for an icing call. Mary not allowed to change. Utes bench is fired up. And finally some progress from the Marauders, who have looked pretty flat for the first 40 minutes in this hockey game. Still dealing with that tough loss last night to the Blue Hens of Delaware in the shootout. And face-off sat there momentarily, but could not be put on goal by Correa. He's got it now on the far side half wall. Stick handles through a couple players, got it in the slot. Correa works it on his forehand, and his shot hit traffic that time and was found by Will Falconer of the Marauders, but it could not be sent out. Finally, Dawson works it over to Bradshaw on the near side, and it was turned aside by Fuller. Now it's Garden who snaps one on goal as he walked over the Mary line, but not a problem at all for Caleb Cross, who will hold on to it. And a lot of action already here in this third period, not even 3 minutes in, and probably the most scoring chances that we've seen all game have come in these first 3 minutes of the third frame rather. Faceoff was won back into the corner by the Marauders and sent around the net by Amrich Gill. Skating up the near side wall was Orr, who gave it in the middle to Sinclair. And he has a bank pass to Massey in the far side corner. In comes Orr to support. But that's Massey, who was pinned up against the boards. And now behind the net, it's Delaney. Pass gets shot up to Gavin Barr, who was tangled up with Tashida. Into the zone was Oliver Kraft. Now on the point, Noonan's got the puck. His shot hit traffic out in front and deflects onto the far side half wall, where it's sent up by Massey. It's Orr who gave it to Sinclair. He's got time in the offensive zone, and his shot was blockered aside by Fuller. And Marauders just throwing everything on goal here early in this third period. Krusek gave it back to Noonan, who skates across the ice and throws it in on goal, and it could not be cleanly caught by Caleb Cross, and it deflects up into the protective netting, causing a stoppage of play. Face off to Cross's right wing side. I think Mary's really feeling this week off that they had last week, as they have another shot there that was blockered aside by Fuller. But they had the week off last week, Mary did, and then traveled into Chicago and really have not gotten things going since they arrived here. That shootout loss to Delaware yesterday and have been pretty flat today. And this is coming off of a couple tough games for the Marauders. They beat Minot, who is currently on the other rink here as part of this ACHA Chicago Classic, tied going into the third period with UNLV, the defending national champions of ACHA Division I. And so UMary beat them back on the 8th of November, but had a loss to Jamestown, the Jimmies, on a week before that. So they've only played 2 games before coming to this tournament in November. And a shot was hit traffic in the slot. A rebound was saved by Cross, who did an excellent job to recover. Now up the near side wall is Sardelli. He's in over the Utes line on his forehand, slaps one on goal, and it's caught by Fuller, and he'll hold on to it. And some more extracurriculars on the far side of the ice by Dane Sardelli. He had a penalty back in the first period, and not an opportune time to take another one if you're the Marauders. Face off the right wing side of Fuller now. That's Joe Gronholtz, who moved in to take it for the University of Mary. Was had a great year last year for this Mary team. That was coming off of some NA3 division hockey, and we've got a penalty coming up now to the Utah Utes. And UMary again will have another try on the power play. Have not been able to convert in their 3 opportunities that they've had this game so far. And I don't know what they're waiting for, but now's the time to get one in the back of the net as we approach the 10-minute mark in this third period. The cross-ice pass went off the skate of Trevor Krusik and all the way down to Caleb Cross, who's out to play the puck. Alex Sempf had the first goal for the Marauders yesterday. Is out there on the power play. Gronholtz on the point. Works it down low. Gives it to Flatley. Now it's Sempf on the point. Flatley, Sempf. In the middle is Scribner. Now they reverse to the far side, but umbrella-style power play. Scribner's shot. Rebound was blocked out in front by Zach Lorilla. And another point shot hit traffic, and it was deflected wide. Starting to play with some confidence, and Sempf will score! Alex Sempf on the power play has slashed the Utah Utes lead in half. The Utes bench fired up, arguing that net was off its moorings. In ACHA hockey, the rule, the way it's written anyway, is if the shot is already in process and that net comes off and the puck goes in, and it no doubt would have gone in whether the net was on or not, that goal stands, and I think that's what happens there, much to the dismay of Morgan Feeney and the entire Utah Utes bench. But either way, finally, the University of Mary able to find the back of the net and get their name on the score sheet. And a whistle was blown. It looks like that Spencer Sky's helmet came unbuckled. And that is a safety issue here in college hockey, so that will cause an immediate stoppage of play. The NHL is moving that direction. When the helmet comes off, the player's got to either get right off the ice or pick it up and put it back on. And obviously, in ACHA college hockey, NCAA, you got to wear full face protection. So once that comes off, play is stopped immediately. Gets slapped up the near side wall. It's Waldhauser in over the Mary line. He's got a very angry Hunter Mangan right on him, who took the puck away. The puck now is sent across the Utes blue line, and a pass evaded Waldhauser and goes skeetering into the Mary end. Bradshaw couldn't control on the far side half wall, and the point shot was wide of the net. The Utes again could not get an opportunity on goal there. And here's Bradshaw. Sent it across to Mangan, who's into the Utes end. Left it. A big shot is saved by Fuller, who is bouncing right back after allowing that power play goal. In the offensive zone, Sendin is in. He's tangled up with Matt Scribner behind the Mary net. And finally, it was reversed by Will Falconer, who took a big shoulder from Oliver Kraft, who's doing a good job throwing the body around, and the puck will pinball over to Caleb Cross, who will hold on to it. 11:42 left in this third period. The score is now Utah Utes 2, University of Mary 1. No surprise at all that Alex Semp was the one that found the back of the net. 9 goals on the season thus far, leads the Marauders in points. And finally, like I said, signs of life shown by the Marauders. It gets chipped up by David Lohr, but it hits someone on the bench. And Lohr is not too happy about that. He was moving fast up the far side wall. And they were going to go in with an odd man break, but that faceoff now coming back into the Mary end. That's the problem in college hockey. That's why my dad always said, you got to sit down when you're on the bench. You see everybody on the Mary bench is standing up. Everybody on both benches is standing up, and that caused Mary to not have an odd man break. Sardelli controls it on the near side. In swoops Tashida, who turned it over in the slot. And a save was made by Cross, who had to scramble after a very inopportune turnover. Here comes Dropek. Fired a pass up to Lohr, but the Marauders were offside, so they've got to back up. Sardelli could not take it away from Garden, who left it in the middle to Lorilla, whose shot ended up being blocked. A one-timer from Garden was high and wide of the net. And that clearing attempt goes right into the Mary bench. And now because of that, Mary will not be allowed a line change. Face-off as we approach the halfway point in this third period. This is almost a different hockey game. Different Mary team that we've seen the rest of this game finally finding their footing and generating some offensive zone opportunities. In his own end, it's Will Falconer. Couldn't get it cleanly out of the zone. And it's snapped on goal by Lorilla, but it hit traffic out in front. Sardelli gave it to Lohr, who's in over the Utes line, and they were offsides. You start to see emotions running hotter and hotter here on this very cold, rainy day in Romeoville. Talking to someone about when this tournament started up last year, was right at the first snow that we got in the Romeoville area, but could not say the same about the beautiful weather here as we have a nice gray, rainy Chicago day. Caleb Cross wants to slow things down in his defensive zone. 9:53 now left in this third period. Alex Semp finding the back of the net and getting Mary on the board in this third period. Face off to Cross's left wing side, and we'll try again. They had just a couple seconds back on the clock here. But throughout the season thus far, Mary has not been able to come back in the third period. So they're looking to do that for the first time today. On the far side, it's sent up the wall by Nick Schwab. And now Gronholtz gave it away in the middle of the ice to Nick Schwab. A big hit in the near side, on the near side wall on Alex Semp. That was Jake Lorilla, who is laying down the body on the number one points man for the Marauders. A centering pass found Lorilla, but was kicked out by Cross. Slapped in and retrieved in the Mary end by Lukasek. And a very pretty breakout play. Will give it to Sinclair, but he couldn't control it in the offensive zone. Here's Slater. Stick handles in over the Mary line. In the middle, a shot is kicked out by Cross and kept in by Noonan on the point. Hamrich Gill. Noonan now on the point for the Utes. Will dump it into the corner. And it was backhanded up the near side wall by Orr. Battle ensues on the half wall. Away comes Denema. And on the point, a pass rather was right to Spencer Skies, but was just a little bit too hot for him to handle. And so it'll be lofted in by Noonan, who will go off for a line change. 8 minutes left for Mary to tie it up as part of their second game in the ACHA Chicago Classic 2025. 27 games being played here in Romeoville, Division I. And Capper Hockey Services has the Division 2 and 3 games going on as part of the big classic, and a huge collision out in front of the Mary bench. That was Karsten Senden, who was laying down the body. And another big body check on the near side is thrown by Will Falconer, but it doesn't matter because the Utes were offsides anyway. As I started to say, though, 51 total games being played as a part of this weekend between the Big Classic and the Chicago Classic. Game all day played here in Romeoville by some of the best Division I schools in the country, and you heard that huge ovation. UNLV just tied the game behind us with Minot. In the offensive zone, this side is Dawson, but his centering pass could not find Bradshaw. Slapped up and out by Trevor Kursick. And now it was lofted in far side by Ripley Garden. Bradshaw, cross-ice pass will send Dawson into the zone. Centering pass did actually find Nick Bradshaw, but his stick broke on the play, and he really didn't get anything on the shot. Working hard as Dawson in the offensive zone, couldn't keep it in, as Zach Larillo was right there, who went off for a line change. Dawson tried to give it to Dropek, who was moving in with speed, but it was out of his reach. He's working hard on the near side half wall, though. Lohr and Dropek for the Marauders had it taken away. And it's rifled into the zone by Nick Schwab. Under 6 minutes now left to go. A beautiful puck pick up there by Lohr. He's in over the Ute slot, and he scores! David Lohr, what a puck pickup on the Utes blue line. Smooth as silk, will put it right in the back of the net. And this game is tied with 5:44 left to go in this third period. Lohr second in points moving into this weekend. 7 goals. That was his 8th right there. And as the saying goes, we have a new game here in the third period. Face off now to the right wing side of Caleb Cross. It's been a lot of University of Mary this third period, but you can't count out Utah quite yet. See a face-off, same spot now, Mary end. In to take it for the Utes is Colorado Springs native Spencer Skies. Puck finally dropped and almost wrestled to the ice there by Senf is Skies, but the Marauders control. Scribner, give and go, he's in over the Utes line. Backhand centering pass, and it was deflected, and it goes into the far side corner. Energy level picking up here in the third period. Noonan rifles it into the Marauder end, and it goes off the M boards right to Caleb Cross, who will hold on to it. 5:06 left to go in third. We are in for quite the finish here in Romeoville. As that puck is dropped and it's controlled by the Marauders off the faceoff. In the neutral zone, it's picked up by Falconer, who forces in and over the line. That's pass to the middle, and it goes off the crossbar. That was Hunter Mangan, who almost brought the Marauders to their first lead of this hockey game. Will Falconer will ring it around his own net to Dawson, who has a touch pass up to Hunter Mangan. Sauces it onto the far side wall, and the Utes turn it over. A quick shot is blocked out in front by Oliver Kraft, who now has the puck and will rifle it in on goal. Another quality chance for the University of Mary. Goes right off the iron, and this game remains tied. That was David Lohr who got credit for that latest goal by the Marauders, assisted by Amrich Gill, who picks up his 6th assist on the season so far. And a pile up on the far side half wall, Marianne. Waves play on by the referee. Finally, it squirts out, and it's picked up by Dropak. He's moving with speed up the far side wall. Will feed it to Sardelli, who was moving in over the Utes line, but a couple collisions will result in the puck trickling on over to Garrett Fuller, who will hold on. And a face-off will ensue to his left wing side. Out there is Brady Schwab. A computer science major who's tied for first in points moving into today. No surprise he's on the ice in these final couple minutes for the Utes. He gets tossed out of the face-off, though, and in comes Trevor Krusik, who does not win the face-off. Behind the net, controlled by Flatley, who ran into a big shoulder but sent it up the far side wall. And now another pile-up. Neither team willing to give an inch in the final 5 minutes of this hockey game. On the point, it gets sent across. Here's Falconer, walks it in. His shot is saved by Fuller, who is out on top of the crease, challenging the shooter. And this game remains tied. Both teams, an exchange of troops. Out again comes Hunter Mangan to take this faceoff for the Marauders. He won it clean. Back to Falconer on the point. He winds and fires. Rebound sat there. And another try is saved by Garrett Fuller. And some major fisticuffs will push the net off. And the well-worn track to the penalty box will once again send a couple players in there. What an opportunity for the Marauders late in this hockey game. Right at the mouth of the goal. Could not put it home. And it looks like we're going to go even 4-on-4. It looks like that's Hunter Mangan, who's in the penalty box for the Marauders. And maybe Colton Johnson for the Utes. We'll wait to see the official rulings on those penalties, but either way, with 3:05 left in the third period, we will go 4-on-4. For the Marauders, it's Falconer, Dropek, Scribner, and Lohr. On the other side, it's Jake Larilla, Curray, Delaney, and we've got another penalty coming up, and they will just let Dropek touch it. And so we will see a 4-on-3 power play for the Utah Utes. Very ill-timed penalty. Tripping is the call. Derek Dropek will take a seat for 2 minutes. And a huge opportunity for the Utes now. Face off to the right wing side of Caleb Cross, won by the Utes. He'll go to work on the power play. Larilla leaves it in the middle for Delaney, who will get it right back. Umbrella style power play. It's Curray now. Larilla, Curray near side, top of the circles. Will go for a skate. He's got Will Falconer right on him. And right back to work. Here's Delaney. Larilla. Crisscross applesauce gets back to Delaney. Near side on the point. It's Waldhauser whose shot was saved by Cross. And it could not be lofted out. Waldhauser will slow things down. Minute left on those two original penalties. Waldhauser walks it right in, and a big save is made by Caleb Cross, who will dive on top of it. And a quality chance late in this hockey game. Minute 54, 49 seconds remaining on the penalties that were assessed to Hunter Mangan and Ethan Noonan. A minute 4 left on the penalty. That was assessed. Hold on, they've got the scoreboard was showing some incorrect information there. Either way, there will still be 49 seconds on those first two penalties, and then a minute 4 on Derek Dropek's penalty. Huge opportunity here for the Utah Utes to convert for the first time on the power play. Have had a couple opportunities to do so and have not been successful in the game so far. Face off to the right wing side of Caleb Cross. One back into the corner and sent the length of the ice. Killing off some time on all three penalties. Weaving through the neutral zone was Delaney. He left it off for Waldhauser. Now Delaney on the top of the key. Across it goes. Delaney in the middle. One-timer is high of the net. Rebound corralled by Waldhauser. On the far side, a quick snapshot. The Utes score! That's Gian Correa gets his second goal of the hockey game on the power play to take the Utes back ahead by 1. Excellent puck movement by the Utah on that power play. And they will be rewarded. So because of that, Derek Dropek was allowed to exit the penalty box. But those first two offsetting coincidental penalties still have 18 seconds left. The Mary bench is fired up. That's Dan Huntley who's barking away at the referee, but will not have his concerns heard, and doesn't matter very much as we're already playing again. Falconer snaps a pass up to Lohr, who tries to sauce it back, but it was taken away by Schwab in his defensive zone. On the point is Scribner. Walks it to the middle. That shot hit traffic out in front. And in front of the net, that was Falconer who was tangled up. Puck gets sent the length of the ice. And an opportunity here for the University of Mary. At the bench is Caleb Cross. I think will remain on the ice for the moment. 52.6 seconds left in this hockey game. Puck is dropped, won by the Utes. Slapped up the far side wall by Sendin. And it's continued up by Krusek. In his own zone, Falconer rifles a pass to Scribner on the far side. And the Marauders are running out of time. 33 seconds left. Off goes Cross. Into the zone is Scribner. On his backhand is crunched off the puck. And it gets rung around and sent up the far side wall. Slapped on goal by Stemp. Found by Scribner in the near side corner. And a pass gets sauced up to Larilla. That's Zach Larilla who's in. And he missed the open net. 12 seconds left to go. Here's Gill, overskated the puck, 8 seconds now, snaps it up the near side wall, and it's broken up in the neutral zone by Johnson, and that will do it. With some extracurriculars in the neutral zone, the Utah Utes have overcome the University of Mary Marauders. That's Zach Larilla who was rolling around on the ground with Lohr. Colton Johnson is in there as well as Alex Semp. And the Utah Utes extend their win streak to 3 games. And they improve to 8-6-0-1 on the season so far. The Marauders, who have had a tough go at it since they started here in Romeoville, lost to the University of Delaware, fighting Blue Hens last night in the shootout, and lose today to the Utah Utes in regulation. The Utes controlled pace of play throughout the course of this hockey game. Big part of the reason that the Marauders were still in the game at the end was their netminder, Caleb Cross, who did a really good job keeping everything he could out of the net and had to deal with a lot. I don't have the shot totals, the official shot totals in front of me, but they have done wonders for his team, and unfortunately we'll still have to take a tally in the loss column. For the camera operator, Ryan Contreras Betts, and for everyone at Capper Hockey Services, we thank you for tuning in to this broadcast of ACHA Division I hockey as part of the 2025 ACHA Chicago Classic. We've got plenty more hockey here that will be live on Flow Sports, so be sure to tune into some of that. My name is Logan Kapp, and we will catch you all on the next one.